Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we are going to tackle something that completely changed the game for modern industry, total quality management. You might know it as TQM.
So let me ask you this. Why is it that some things you buy just work? They feel solid, they last forever, and then other stuff, well, it feels like it's designed to fall apart the second you open the box. That difference, it often comes down to the philosophy behind how it was made, and that's exactly the problem TQM was created to solve.
So what even is TQM? At its core, it's a complete shift in how a company thinks. It's not a department tucked away in a corner office. It's a culture. It says quality isn't just something you check for at the very end. Nope. It's something you build into every single step, with every single person, all focused on one thing, making the customer happy.
And this slide just nails the difference. The old way of doing things was all about catching mistakes. You'd have inspectors at the end of the line sorting the good stuff from the bad. TQM completely flips that on its head. It's all about preventing defects from ever happening in the first place. It's about empowering every single employee to be a champion for quality.
All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to define what total quality really is. Then we'll walk through its 8 core principles. After that, we'll open up the TQM toolbox to see how it's put into action, figure out how to measure success, and finally, get to the best part, the ultimate payoff, not just for the business, but for you. Let's start right at the foundation. TQM isn't some vague, fuzzy idea. It's actually built on 8 solid principles that guide pretty much every decision and action. And to make these super easy to remember, we can just bundle them into 2 main themes. First, you've got the human side of things, people and leadership. And then you have the systems, process, and data. Let's kick things off with the people. This right here is where TQM begins. It all starts with this intense, almost obsessive focus on the customer. It needs leaders who are all in, who are visibly committed to building that quality culture. It demands total involvement from everyone, no exceptions. And it even reaches outside the company walls to building really strong, quality-focused relationships with your suppliers.
And this quote, wow, it just gets right to the heart of it all. Think about it. A product can meet every single internal engineering spec, check every box. But if the customer hates it, is it really a quality product? Of course not. TQM forces a company to listen to the voice of the customer and translate that into everything they do.
Okay, now let's switch gears to our second theme. This is where the science really comes into play. TQM looks at work as a series of connected processes, not just a bunch of separate tasks. It's built on Kaizen, the Japanese philosophy of continuous, never-ending improvement. And this is crucial. It replaces those endless arguments and meetings with decisions based on hard evidence. We're talking statistical facts to find and fix the real root causes of problems.
So, the philosophy is great, but how do you actually do it? What happens on a Tuesday afternoon? Well, that's where the TQM toolbox comes in. These are the practical, powerful tools that bring all those principles to life.
The engine that drives all this improvement is this simple but absolutely brilliant 4-step cycle. Plan, do, check, act, or PDCA. You plan an improvement, you do a small-scale test, you check the data to see if it actually worked, and then you act by rolling it out or tweaking the plan. It's a loop that makes sure you're always getting better based on real evidence.
Now, working hand in hand with that PDCA cycle is a set of 7 fundamental tools. You can think of this like a diagnostic kit for any team that's trying to figure out what's going wrong and how to fix it. Now, we can't get into all 7 right now, but let's look at a couple of real powerhouses. The Pareto chart is all about the 80-20 rule. It helps you find the 20% of causes that are creating 80% of your headaches, so you know exactly where to focus your energy. Then there's the Ishikawa or fishbone diagram, which is just a fantastic way to brainstorm and map out every single potential root cause of a problem. These tools make the invisible visible. All right, a huge part of TQM is the belief that you can't improve what you don't measure. It just makes sense, right? So how do we actually create a scorecard for quality? Well, it starts by defining your critical quality attributes, or CQAs. These are the specific, measurable things that actually matter to your customer. It could be the exact diameter of a bolt, the battery life of a phone, or the color of a car. This is how you translate vague customer wants into hard, measurable targets. And to keep an eye on those QAIs, we use Key Performance Indicators, or KPIs. Just think of these as the live numbers on the quality scoreboard. Let's run through a few common ones to see the kind of impact they track. First up, the big one, the defect rate. This is just the simple percentage of your products that don't meet the spec. In any good TQM system, the goal, the obsession really, is to drive this number as close to zero as humanly possible.
Now here's a metric that gets everybody's attention. Why? Because it translates defects into the one language every business understands: money. The cost of poor quality, or COPQ, adds up everything you spend on scrap, rework, and warranty claims. A number like this is a massive motivator for change, all the way up to the CEO's office.
And remember, quality issues always have ripple effects. On-time delivery, or OTD, tracks how often those issues cause delays that end up affecting the customer. It's a perfect example of how quality isn't just an internal problem. It directly impacts your reputation and your relationships.
So we've covered the principles, the tools, and the measurements. But what's the bottom line? Why go through all this trouble? Let's talk about the ultimate payoff.
For the business itself, the benefits are huge. I mean, they're crystal clear. When you build quality in from the start, your costs just plummet. You spend way less time and money fixing mistakes and dealing with unhappy customers. And that leads directly to more loyal customers and a brand that people genuinely trust.
But hang on, let's make this personal. Because beyond all the corporate benefits, really understanding and mastering these TQM principles is a massive career booster for you as an individual. This is what I really want you to take away from this. Learning TQM gives you skills that companies are desperate for. You learn how to lead projects based on data, not just gut feelings. You master a toolkit for solving problems systematically. You become that person who can walk into a messy situation and drive real, measurable improvements. Plus, this knowledge is a direct path to getting valuable certifications like Six Sigma and ISO 9001, making you a huge asset to any team.
So we'll end with a final thought here. TQM got its start in manufacturing, yeah? But these principles, they're universal. Think about healthcare, software development, education. Think about how you manage your own personal projects. Where could a relentless focus on the customer, continuous improvement, and data-driven decisions be a total game changer? That's the real power of total quality management.